So, how about Zach Wilson and the New York Jets taking down the undefeated 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles at home? It was actually the Jets' very first franchise win over the Philadelphia Eagles. The Jets are now 1-12 all time against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I thought Zach Wilson certainly played one of his better games against the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought that, while it wasn't quite as good as, say, the Kansas City game, he did make some nice plays in this one and obviously did enough for his team to win. So without further ado, let's just get into the film. We're going to start off here with this first play, and it's just going to be something simple. A little play action slant with Garrett Wilson up here at the top of the screen. A little one-on-one matchup against press coverage. Nothing too fancy. Whenever you have a one-on-one matchup, if I'm Zach Wilson, pretty much every single time, I'm thinking about number 17. So you'll see here that Zach Wilson is going to take the snap. And at this point, things are looking pretty good. Garrett Wilson has a pretty good step here on the defender. The defender is in really bad position, especially with his feet. So for Zach Wilson, this is a pretty easy pitch and catch. Honestly, I feel like he's a little bit late on the throw if you want to make one little critique there. But he gives his guy a chance. It's a high throw, but when you've got Garrett Wilson back there, you can get away with high throws like that. You would have liked to have seen the ball maybe out just a touch sooner if you're Zach Wilson. Throw it right now. Just throw it right now, and you make things a lot easier on Garrett Wilson. So this could be a positively or a negatively graded play, depending on how you want to view it. But you got Garrett Wilson, so you can get away with stuff like that. An easy pitch and catch right there for Zach Wilson, but he could have maybe made it just a little bit easier on himself. That's for sure. Now, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows on the day for Zach Wilson, that's for sure. On this one right here, he's going to have Garrett Wilson running just a deep over route, crossing the face of the defense right here, and he's going to have pressure coming from the Eagles to his right-hand side. So you'll see here, once Zach Wilson takes the snap, it's off a little play-action fake. You'd kind of want him to start drifting towards this green grass right here a little bit sooner than he does. He does eventually start drifting to the left, but it's a little bit later than he should. Wilson is going to try to get behind this linebacker right here, and I feel like if Zach Wilson just drifts to the left, he has a chance to put his back foot in the ground and make an accurate throw. Instead, what he ends up doing, he sets initially, then redrifts and throws off of his back foot, and we end up selling that thing short right there to Garrett Wilson. Yes, it would have been a tight, high degree of difficulty throw, but those are the throws that you need a quarterback of Zach Wilson's pedigree, being the former number 2 overall pick, to make. That's a throw that Aaron Rodgers makes in his sleep, man. Zach Wilson has to get more consistent with these throws if the Jets are going to have any hope of making the playoffs this year. It was a great win yesterday, I should say, against Philadelphia. But at the end of the day, if you're Zach Wilson, you've got to make these fairly routine throws look a little bit more routine. Yes, it is a somewhat higher degree of difficulty throw, but it's one that Zach Wilson, with his talent level, should be able to make. That's for sure. And then this one here, we've got just another one-on-one opportunity, press coverage on Garrett Wilson. Zach Wilson says, you know what, I'm going to give my best guy a chance on this one. You'll see that Zach Wilson is going to take a straight drop from under center here. He's going to try to look off the safety with his eyes to the left, and then he whips his head back to the right. So that's at least good eye manipulation on the part of Zach Wilson. He does get some pressure right there, and maybe he got hit a little bit on the throw, but you'll see right there, the ball is slightly underthrown. Wilson is kind of in some traffic at this point, but again, man, this is why Garrett Wilson is incredible. He goes up and he absolutely mosses the corner. I mean, just got to pause it right here so we don't get a copyright claim, but this is nasty right there from Garrett Wilson. He goes up there and mosses Josh Jobe. You would have liked a better throw in that situation for sure from Zach Wilson. Maybe try to lead him a little bit. Granted, he does have a safety crashing in, so this is just one where Zach Wilson's like, you know what, I'm going to give Garrett Wilson a chance. I'm going to put that ball high where only he can go up and get it. Good throw by him, and I said you would have wanted maybe some better ball location, but actually that's a good throw in that situation there by Zach Wilson, just giving Garrett Wilson a chance. No, actually, I mean, you could have maybe put it out there a little bit more, but this is just a good job giving Wilson a chance to go up there and get it. So I can't really hate on the ball location too much. This one's fun right here. This is just going to be a little bit of play creation for Zach Wilson. Got a little play fake right here. Nothing's open, nothing's open. Maybe you could argue he could get it to the flat right here. It's 2nd down and 1, so if he scans back over here to the flat, you could maybe argue that Tyler Conklin picks up the 1st down here. But this is a good job. Once the pocket begins to break down, Zach Wilson with just this little one-handed shovel there to Breece Hall, making something happen. Breece Hall's able to turn up field and get some pretty nice yards after the catch. So, yeah, you could have argued that Zach Wilson could have made it a little easier and just come back over to the flat in that situation. But it was a great job by him seeing that Breece Hall was going to be open and having the guts and the confidence to make that little one-handed shovel. Those are Mahomes-type throws right there. Obviously not saying Zach Wilson is Patrick Mahomes, but those are the kind of gutsy, confident throws where you can tell that Zach Wilson trusts himself to deliver in those situations. So you definitely like to have that trait from your quarterback. Sometimes it can get your quarterback in trouble, but there are plenty of other times where it can lead to crazy play creation like this, and that's exactly what happens here. And it allows the New York Jets to get a critical conversion there on what ended up being initially a dead play. But it certainly wasn't all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows from Zach Wilson. Here we've got a key 3rd down and 7. Jets are down by just 2 points, 5.5 minutes left to go here. You'll see that, I gotta be honest, I don't really like this play design. By the time Zach Wilson hits the bottom of his drop, he's already gotten nowhere to go, really. And to make matters worse, Hassan Reddick is beating the left tackle, Joe Tippmann. At this point, if you're Zach Wilson, you'd kind of maybe like yourself just to pivot around and just throw this at the feet of Breece Hall right here. That way, it's an incomplete pass and you don't lose yardage. Instead, we take a sack and we end up giving the ball back to Philadelphia. Now, fortunately for you, they do end up turning the ball over, and it gives you an opportunity to go down and score. So that's how the Jets ended up winning that game, but definitely don't like Zach Wilson taking a sack in that situation. You would have liked to have seen him maybe pivot back across and throw it at the feet of Breece Hall when he sees that his right tackle, Joe Tippmann, is getting yeeted on that play. All right, so overall, I thought that Zach Wilson played a fairly decent game. It wasn't anything incredible. This was certainly a defensive victory for the New York Jets. But if Zach Wilson continues to play this brand of football, keep the ball out of harm's way for the most part, and not turn it over in those key situations, I feel like the Jets can at least remain competitive. And given the fact that Aaron Rodgers is really trying to fight hard to be back this season, and the Jets are saying they're not ruling anything out in terms of Rodgers coming back this season, if Zach Wilson can play like this, he may be able to keep the Jets afloat through the end of the season. And by the time the playoffs come around, we may be able to see number 8 back under center for the New York Jets. All right, guys, how do you feel Zach Wilson played overall? Give him a letter grade. Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear them as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out and helps get us seen by more and more NFL fans just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.